Alright, so today, missed the last couple days because I was kind of tired, pretty asthma sick at the end of last week. So I just took a couple days off just to try to get a little bit recovered. I mean, you can still probably hear it in my voice. I don't know, maybe not if you haven't been watching the string long enough. It's been like a month, or probably closer to a month and a half now that I've been having asthma issues because of my day job. So, long story short, I was just super exhausted and didn't feel up to doing anything over the weekend, so I didn't. So I'm sort of going back and just reworking this based on the critique I got. Oop. Actually opened a different window there. Wasn't what I wanted. It's like some weird masky thing. But that still looks decent there. And I want to move this over to the other side, so let's turn on gutter so I know where the middle is. I'll just paste it there. I'll grab this little guy. That sort of ties the two pages together a little bit better. That was a pretty quick and simple fix there. I think I've got most of the changes in. Let me turn off some layers and see if I'm okay with what I'm looking at. Where'd that go? Nope, that's not what we needed. I'll get this bad boy. I kind of think that's doing okay. And what now? Maybe paint the figure a little bit. Or no, let's work on sort of the street area, I think. Maybe get this foreground area cleaned up a little bit more in the monster. I'm gonna save the figure till I'm feeling a little bit better. If I feel it any better at all by like Thursday, otherwise I'll just do it like Wednesday night, Thursday night, one of those two nights. Or if I get everything else done first, then I'll move on to the figure. I'm not too worried about procrastinating. Oh yeah, monster. And road. I was like opening this for reference, that's what I was doing. So we need like a darker thing down there. Doesn't need to be super regular. Maybe some hints of stuff on the road that we're missing. Some like cross beams and lines for the light poles. Let's play around with that for a little bit. Okay. So I'm actually just gonna use a mouse for this just because it's easier to do like super straight lines. Let's turn off the real foreground because that's this area here, which we don't need. We don't need that. What we need is the rail. There we go. Let's go back to our reference. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, the telephone poles are like the closer side of the viewer. Let's move those poles. Because I think putting them in front here will help sell the scale a little bit better, right? Because it'll give us some like human reference that we're up high. So I think that's going to be kind of important. And then let's scale those. I just want it vertically mostly, I think. By putting them on this side of the road, yeah, that's going to help a lot with like establishing the height of everything, which is one of the things that's been bothering me, right? We could do some trees and bushes and stuff down here, but having these telephone poles will give us a really good... We can actually move them down a little bit too. Yeah, that's going to help a lot with the sense of scale, right? And it doesn't need to be like super big. We can just do like... In these images, you've got these strong sort of lines there, but we can simplify it to like some like dashed like highlights more than anything else, which will really help, I think. Yeah, let's do that. I think that'll solve a lot of the issues I'm having with this piece right now. It's part of why I like working on projects over like multiple days, just because that way you can, you know, catch things like that in your reference and get them cleaned up. So I'm just going to grab this brush here, make it a little bit smaller, and I'll just do like a hard line for like the inner shadow of this guardrail. And we'll go back and sort of roughen it up as needed. So let's start more at the top there. I don't know if you noticed in the reference, but like this line isn't like a perfect hard line on the bottom. It's pretty good on the top in the reference. We zoom in, we've got like lots of like pixely stuff, and I think it's okay to bring like some of that sort of noise into the actual painting. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take this brush and sort of roughen the edge a bit. Because in a lot of ways, trying to be perfect will ruin a painting. You'll overwork stuff. You'll add like awkward textures that didn't need to be there. I've always found like simple is best for this kind of stuff. So really I want this to be like just 3 or 4 lines. That's about it. Showing our reference again. I'm going to add another layer here. I'm just going to try to catch the top edge of this with this highlight. And I missed, but that's okay. There's an easy way to solve that. We're going to hit Control T to transform it. Distort. And then we'll do the same trick with the eraser. Make it a little bit smaller. I think we do want to go in this direction. A little bit smaller yet. I'm sort of trying to get it down to like the narrow highlight I'm actually looking for. And I'll go back and sort of roughen things up. Probably lower the opacity just a hair on that. And there we go. Get a rail layer, But we're also going to need to add. I'm just gonna pull this color probably straight out of the ref as well. I can find something that works. We need like some little poles back here. Just grab that color there and see how that works. It's not actually a pole color, but okie doke. And the road. Get a reference and see what we can see. Sort of like having to parse this together from like super spotty pixely information, since I'm sort of using a really zoomed in photo, which isn't the best for reference, but I think it'll be okay. I sort of like to brighten stuff up in here too, so losing a little bit of information that way. But I think I'm just gonna have to make some stuff up and hope it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this color here. I'm going to make it slightly lighter, slightly like more desaturated. I'm going to clip a layer to the road. I'm just going to stack some beat up layers like this till I get everything sort of sorted the way I want it. Here there's sort of like reflective white strips on the edge of the road. Are going to be about the same color as that highlight on the rail. So just pop that down there. We've got to roughen it up because that these old roads tend to have a lot of like little spotty rough edges along there. So we'll sort of grab our rough brush and just sort of like probably equivalent to like tapping in with like a sponge in traditional media. And just sort of adding that texture to it just by clicking this sort of like spongy brush along the top of it. I'm using distort instead of like free transform here, just because it gives me a little bit more fine control where like the final line ends up. Those sliders there. We just need like really spotty, sort of highlighty stuff. We don't need any like huge detailed thing. Dang it, I missed something up there. Let's go back and check the other side this time. There we go. And what we're going to do is fill it in with sort of, take our little orange color here as just a point of reference. It's a little bit too bright. Let's darken it up, make it a little bit more orange. It's too orange. Feels about right for like the center dividing line there. I think we actually might need to move it up a little bit. I think we need to make these figures back here smaller. I think that's part of what's messing with the scale. Or we might just need to take the back figures out. Feels a little emptier back here, but that's okay. We can go paint in like small figures later. Because yeah, those guys are just too tall relative to the guardrail. Like the guardrail here should come up to our hips, and since they're further back, like it should be like chest height on them, and it didn't quite look like that was the case. So we'll go clean that up later. Let's move on to our light poles. Let's hop back up to our reference and sort of see what the perspective on the camera gave me. Okay, let's think about it. The horizon is slightly up, so the perspective means that the poles need to be pointed like roughly that way if they're flat, and sort of like super they don't have to be perfect either, just because in perspective they could be like rotating and twisting and stuff. Let's use our square brush for this though. Make it a little bit smaller. Let's get down to like a 12. stick to the reference. I mean, they're fairly straight and level. Need to be a little bit longer on this side, I think. I'm probably gonna do dip pretty soon here tonight too. Like, I'm still feeling a little bit rough from allergies, so I'm gonna try to keep things short and sweet just so I can not overwhelm myself while I'm not feeling good. So I'll be calling it pretty soon here. A new thing for these like highlights. I want to get some like the bluish sky on top of there. Make it a little bit brighter, a little bit more desaturated. And just so they don't look like crosses, we've got to get, I think that's thicken up these lines a little bit. Put a layer underneath the bowls, that way I can put a little boxy thing up here. Maybe not that big, yay big there. go. Then just to save some time and trouble, I'm going to do like a stroke with a pen tool. Let's make this brush kind of small. Let's get like a 3. Anyway, pen tool. Just because I am, like I said, I'm a little bit out of it today. So it doesn't make sense to like really struggle to try to get things done perfectly. There's an easier way to do it. Dang it. Oh, I'm too brain dead for this tonight. I'm not remembering how to stroke this path. Alright, I think I'm going to call the stream here, and I'll be back tomorrow night. And hopefully I've figured this out and done it off stream, or I'll do it tomorrow night. Anyway, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll be back tomorrow night.